Hi guys, welcome to Inspirations. That's my podcast about knitting and yarn dyeing. The yarn that I hand dye and sell in my Etsy shop. This is Inspirations. It's season 4, episode 10 today. And thank you very much for joining me. So if you are new to the podcast, this is very quickly how this works to just be, you're welcome. So Tricot Stitch does a shop update every Monday afternoon. A newsletter sent out every Monday at 5 p.m. Paris time, and a weekly podcast episode uploaded to YouTube every Monday at 5 p.m. as well. So Paris time, because I'm French, I live near Paris, and yeah. So English is not my mother tongue, so in advance I'm not touching this subject at all in other episodes, but I might start doing so. So English is not my mother tongue, as you can hear, so please forgive any broken English happening here. Yeah. So today I'm not really the one for taking notes and planning everything, but I'm in a planning series. I'm in a planning mood these days, and I'm planning everything. So my notes are that. Yeah, lots of notes today. Lots of things I want to share, actually. I want also to remind you that there's a monthly challenge that's open internationally, and to play along, you can win a skein of yarn every month. So every month it's the colorway of the month of the Sock Knitters Almanac that's to win. I'm randomly picking up at the beginning of each month a winner. So to enter, all you have to do is post a picture of your Tricot Stitch project. It can be yarn, it can be a pattern, it can be both, and you can play along on Instagram with this hashtag, and or on Ravelry there is a dedicated thread. So the prompt is in French, but I've just explained everything to you guys. You can just pop your picture there and you will be part of the picking up. And also all the details are in the show notes. You just have to click on plus just below, and you will have all the information pertaining to the podcast. There's a lot of things in there. There's the time codes if you want to go directly to a section in the episode. There's the links pointing to everything I'm wearing and talking about maybe. And also the link to my gear. If you're interested in podcasting and you're wondering what gear I'm using to film the podcast, there's everything in there. Also about the shop, very quickly, because I have a festival coming up on March 26th and 27th. The shop will be closed on Wednesday, March the 23rd, and will reopen during the week of March the 28th. So today there's a podcast, but no shop update, because the festival is looming and I need to work on everything I'm going to have at my booth. And so the next shop update is on April 4th with the April colorway of the Sock Knitters Almanac. And then you have it. Every useful information has been given. Also, I wanted to tell you, if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for hanging out with me one more episode. It's always a pleasure. I'm really enjoying filming the podcast, actually. You can tell, I think. So thank you, guys. So the festival I'm going to be part of next weekend is the weekend Tonte et Laine in Rambouillet. So that's the shearing and wool weekend. This is going to be so cool. And it's to be held at the Bergerie Nationale. So that's a very big thing that's in the park of a beautiful castle in France, in Rambouillet. That's the name of the ship, guys. So there's going to be a marché d'artisans de la laine, so it's wool craftsmanship market. A little one, only 20 vendors, I think, and it's from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, so 26th and 27th of March. I don't know if you will be around or if you'll be able to drop it by, but if you do, please leave me a comment and let me know if you're coming. That would be so cool. And please, if you come and say hi, okay? Don't hesitate. What I'm going to have for this festival, actually I had, where is it? Okay, just hold on one second. I had a lot of fun in the dye pots lately because I didn't have any big festival looming in. I didn't have any, you know, big event. I had a kind of bit of freedom in my dye pots, and I actually took advantage of that to come up with new colorways, new semi-solid colorways. I wanted to work on very, you know, high in saturation, deep in color, because I feel that it's good to have such a range of color. And I was very curious about some color associations as well. Like sometimes I wake up at night and I'm like, what if I mix that purple with some yellow? What am I going to have? And this is true. This is actually what I thought this morning at 5 a.m. because I had a nightmare of something horrible, you know, happening to one of my kids. And I don't know if that makes this to you, but I kept getting back in the nightmare each time I closed my eyes, and my brain was intent on torturing me that night, and I just couldn't, you know, shake up the nightmare. And then I was like, okay, you have to occupy your mind with something else. And I was like, what am I going to dye this morning, today? And I had 2 dye pots that I didn't have planned for them at all. I was like, what if I mix purple and yellow? What is it going to do? I don't know. I was like, and that's what's okay. I was able to get back to sleep and forget the horrible nightmare. And actually, I'm going to do that today, and I think it's going to be brown. But yeah, and I think I've been exploring like color associations lately. Some very, very daring, some more, you know, more natural. But I'm really having fun, and I'm going to share with you the results of my experiments so far. So I'm really happy because thanks to this and to all the fun I'm having, I'm actually developing a whole range of new colorways that are absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. I think I just want to knit them all, and they're going to work wonderfully well if you want to knit some color work. Perfection. Okay, enough said. I'm going to show you guys what I worked on. So my new favorite color, I'm going to start strong. My new favorite color in the whole world is this one. It's a very deep and saturated mix of fuchsia and red, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and I love it to pieces, and it's my new favorite color. I want to knit everything with that color. So no colors have names so far because I couldn't decide. I feel I need to choose wisely. I need to, you know, come up with very good names because I think the very good colors, they're going to stick for a bit. They're going to be there for a while. I think, yeah. This is close to me. It's like a neutral because it's going to go with everything else. I mean, there is not a single color that I don't look good near this one. New favorite, guys. So if you have any inspiration for one of the colorways, please suggest some names. I really need help on this, and you really usually have such good ideas, so please don't hesitate to let me know your thoughts and share some names idea you have for those colorways. So this is my new favorite ever. I love that one. And then I worked on blues. So this one is between a blue and a purple. That's exactly what it is. I can't decide. I think it's more on the blue side, but you can see the purple as well. I worked on a beautiful mix of browns and pink, which I think is close to Adobe, but I mean, it's not something you see in my geography, so I wouldn't know for sure, but it strongly reminds me of that. Doesn't have a name yet, again. This is a very saturated and beautiful deep brown, very cold, with green actually. That's me that knows it, but you couldn't tell, right? Then I have this beautiful, very cold green, gray green with blue. I love that one so much as well. It's beautiful. everything is on my extra thin fingering high twist base. That's a 2-ply, 360 meter for 100 grams, and that's a yarn that actually grows on me because I think it takes the dye so beautifully. I really like that base. I knitted my shellography out of this base. This is also a new golden green that is absolutely lovely. Really happy about that colors as well. This is a gorgeous warm brown. Like, I have a colorway that looks a bit like that, that's called chocolate fudge, but this one is even more chocolatey. It's very intense. Then I have this beautiful smoky purple, which actually is a mix of purple and brown, if you can imagine. I'm never surprised sometimes when I try new colors. I'm like, okay, okay, didn't expect that, but okay. That's really fun. And that's a beautiful, very deep burgundy. I have a colorway that's very close as well, that's chignon, but it's chignon but taken to another level. It's really even more saturated and deep, and it's like it shines actually from inside. It's I'm very super excited about this new palette. I'm not done. I still want to try out new colors. I have 2 beautiful greens in the dye pot below, because my studio is in my garage but below the house, so I still have 2 beautiful greens I need to rinse out. I want to try out purple and yellow, like I talked. I want to try out a lot of, I felt like I've explored maybe 1% of what I want to explore, so there is room for, you know, more adventure in colors coming up. There's so much I want to try, but purple and yellow is really keeping me puzzled. I think brown, but I'll let you know, guys, in the next episode, okay? Because I'm going to try this not this morning, but next dyeing session, because this morning everything was already prepared. I had already planned things, but next session I'm going to try purple and yellow, definitely. Okay, I had a lot of fun again for over dyeing sessions. So this is an over dyed colorway I decided to call Orchidée Noire. And it's a beautiful aubergine with a nuance of blue. I noted the recipe for this one, so it's totally repeatable. And then I'm going to, I played around with the bases because I wanted to try out some, you know, very precious bases, just to, you know, try, because I like wool. That's my favorite medium to work with, but I wanted to try my hand at alpaca, for example, because I'm actually knitting out of alpaca, and I'm really enjoying it, and I wanted to explore it more in the dye pots as well. Well, I don't like alpaca in the dye pots, okay? It's a pain in the to dye. I want to keep this family friendly, so I won't say too much big words, but yeah, definitely it is. So it's like it's picky, you know, because I have this base, Lurex, which is very airy, and it's like it slurps the dye. Each time you have like a drop, it's like it's the type of yarn that you can put a lot of dye in there and it's never saturated, okay? Because it's very airy, so I think the dyes goes all the way through the fiber, and in every around and inside, and yeah, it takes a lot of dye to dye that yarn, but actually you can play around with that, and I learned to play around with that, and it's fine, and I'm okay with that. This is the opposite of Lurex. This is a very picky yarn. She doesn't want the dye, okay? She's like, no, I'm not having it, no thank you, okay? And I'm like, yeah, but take it, okay? That's not much there. I mean, it's very something. I put like a dose to have something pastel, and still it doesn't want it. I was like, okay, what in the actual F, okay? So this is something, this is kind of, you know, this not too saturated, not too deep, not too dark. But I mean, it was supposed to be much lighter than that. And at the end of the whole process, once everything had been heated up and yeah, I did some vinegar and, you know, I tested all the avenues that could explain that why it wasn't taking the dye. And at the end, okay, it took the dye, but not completely. Okay, not completely. And this was really not heavy on dye, okay? So I'm not enjoying dyeing alpaca, guys. Okay, not at all. But it's true that it's really nice to work with. I won't lie. Okay, and if you guys like it, I can, you know, I'll do that for you. I'll dye some, but not my favorite things. Okay, I just, maybe for like for Lurex, I have to learn to work with it and find the sweet spot where it has enough dye to get the effect I want, and or accept that I won't get the effect I want, and learn how the yarn is behaving and how I can work with it towards something acceptable. I don't exactly if it makes sense, but yeah. Okay, so that's one of the yarn I'm going to have at my booth. So that's a DK 200 meters and 225 meters per 100 grams. It's 70% baby alpaca, 20% cashmere, no, 20% silk and 10% cashmere, and it's absolutely soft. It's beautiful. It was really not something I liked dyeing, but in the end, the colorway is beautiful. Also, another alpaca experience. This one, same, 100% baby alpaca, fingering weight, behaved exactly the same way. Didn't want the dye. So in the end, it took it, but not as saturated as I wished. So this is a beautiful, like dusky, blue to pink and purple colorway. I have only 5 of those. I don't know if I will buy some more because, yeah, yeah, I don't like the way it behaves in the dye pots actually. Then I will have some very cute sock sets. So you can either, you know, if you want some pattern suggestions for 50-gram sock sets like those, I have the most wonderful pattern ever. This is a Stitch Surfers pattern by Louise Robert from Biscuit Yarns. This is a great pattern. I knitted it once and I want to knit it again. And that's a great pattern. Also, there's a pattern by a French knitter, a male, not so frequent. Look at this. This is by a friend of mine, Patricia. She had them at the last Café Tricot and they were beautiful. I'm going to put the name here. The podcast is Valpolicella on YouTube, I think. And he gives out tips, gorgeous tips, just to, you know, manage your threads inside and like weave them in. Not weave the ends in, but weave the floats in. And actually, when I looked at Patricia's socks inside out, the inside was beautiful, beautiful. And it's actually very stretchy for color work. So I really want to try my hands at those. And I'm going to just watch the podcast as well. So I have not knitted them out yet. I have not watched the podcast myself, but I intend to. It's a good find. So thank you again, Patricia, for making me familiar with this. I really want to try my hands at those. Although I'm not very comfortable with color work yet, I'm working on it. But that's not my strength for the time being, but it will be one day. One day I'm going to be queen of color work. So back to those. They don't have name either. So if you want to, you know, make suggestions. So this one is inspired by actually vitro. I think that's color glass, like in churches and so. So you have like a rainbow arrangement of a lot of colors and then overdyed with black. And this is a very intense part of my colorways experiment, very intense blue, teal blue. That's the first set. And the other one really, you know, is strongly evocative of like Rocky Mountains. I don't know why. It's really not something I'm very familiar with, but I don't know why. So if you have a name as well, to me, maybe it will be Rocky Mountains, maybe Les Montagnes Rocheuses in French, I don't know. So this is a very beautiful rusty color that I love, and it's also part of the semi-solid experiment I've been leading for the past dyeing sessions. And this one is a mix of browns, warm browns, cold browns, rust, and a dash of turquoise. It's like, you know, you can imagine like a lake in the middle of the Rocky Mountains, like, you know, that looks very completely turquoise under the blue sky, around, surrounded by rusty hills and cliffs. Yeah. That's what it's yeah, that's what I'm thinking about when I see that. What else? I have two other colorways for those mini sets. I have these two, but I don't know if I'm going to put them together or dye two colorways to go along with them. The initial plan was to dye two additional colorways, one to go with that one and one to go with that one. I was thinking maybe variegated neon to go with that one. This one I don't know yet, but this is my beloved new colorway. You see, the one I told you was my absolute favorite. So this is not the same base, but look how gorgeous it is. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. And that's it, guys. That's it. So no shop update today. Shop update in 2 weeks time, April 4th. April 4th will be for the April colorway of the Sock Knitter's Almanac, but there will be also a very big shop update, maybe on the 4th, maybe later, with everything that will remain from the weekend Tonte Laine, because I'm not expecting it to be like a big festival. I'm not expecting to be sold out. Yeah, I think it's like a small scale event, so I will have a lot of things. I will have those. I will also have all the recent colorways of the Sock Knitter's Almanac, so that's Brocéliande, the March colorway, Druides, Lune du Loup, Casse-Noisette, which was December, Cozy Season, which was November, but that's it. I won't have any previous ones, because I mean, it's starting to, you know, make a lot of colorways to have ready for every event. Yeah, so for my next events, if you plan to, you know, go and visit me and you'd like to see a colorway in particular, don't hesitate to let me know, because just very quickly, the next events I'm going to participate in that will be Brussels, Sip and Knit Brussels, end of April, beginning of May. Then there will be Porto in Portugal, beginning of June. Then there will be Bretagne, Farce Bretagne du Sud, just the week after Porto. And yeah, that's it for the time being, but I don't know if there will be other events soon. I'm hoping so, in July. I'm really hoping there will be one in July. I'd like to attend. Sorry. Then I have some DK and mohair and silk kits to knit your own Manuela Chunky or your own Réconfort. Here. I will have some Westfield Wanderer. We'll have one Westfield Wanderer textured kit in Lune du Loup. I will have kits to knit your own Sholography, your own Summer Crush, which is one of my patterns that is really screaming summer. And then I will have a lot of aimable goodies, okay, at my booth. Okay, guys, that's it for the festival. Then, if you are a regular of the podcast, you might have noticed that I always like researching the best organization I can find just to manage everything. I want to manage everything. That's my ultimate goal. I want to manage my business as good as I can. I want to be there for my kids. I want to cook. I want to knit on my projects. I want to crochet. I want to cross stitch. I want to spin. I want to do all of it. I want to clean my house also. I mean, that's not a priority in the list, but still, you know, I kind of enjoy a clean house. So yeah, also. And I feel that I've been researching and working toward the best organization I can find to manage it all over the last 2 years. because it's been 2.5 years that I've been working for myself from home, and I have 4 kids, aging 14 to 3. And I think I cracked it, guys. I'm not sure because it's not been long, but I think I cracked it. I had an epiphany because, I mean, lately, because the business is growing, I had to increase my production. And to do so, I decided to increase the size of my dyeing sessions. Not increase the number of dyeing sessions, but increase the number of skeins I'm dyeing in each dyeing session. And the thing is, it had got to a point that I was, procrastinating a lot to go to the dye pots, because it was so huge what I had to do to dye yarn that I was not enjoying it anymore. I have to be frank with about that. I have to be honest. I didn't enjoy it anymore. I mean, it was like the chore, just a chore. While I was doing it, I mean, I was enjoying myself, but it was so exhausting. I was like dying for like 4 to 5 hours without a break, and it was really difficult. And each time I had to start again, I was like, and it went to a point like 10 days ago where I just didn't show up and I didn't do it because I was too tired. Mentally and physically, I was not in a good place. I know it doesn't show in the podcast. That's because you guys are really, really picking me up each time. I'm really enjoying doing the podcast, and each time I'm doing the podcast, I'm a very optimistic person, and I'm still, loving what I do for a living. So I'm always, in the mood that it's going to be better. It's going to get better. I'm going to find a solution. But I think I get it. I think I got the solution. So there was Friday 2 weeks ago. I didn't want to start my dyeing session. I'm supposed to start at 9 in the morning. It was 4 in the afternoon. I had 5 hours of dyeing to do. It was like time to pick up no, it was not time to pick the kids from school because they were still on vacation, so they were at home. And I was like, the time was passing by, and I was like, okay, I have to do this. I have to do that. I don't want it. I don't want to do it. I know I have to. There is a reel on Instagram saying just that. I know I have to do it. I know I can do it, but I don't want to do it. Well, exactly that. Exactly that. And finally, at 5 p.m., I was like, okay, I'll just start. Whatever. I'll just start. It doesn't matter if I don't go all the way and I don't do everything today, but at least I'm going to maybe do a third or maybe just a fifth. I don't care. Just start. And I did just that. When I went without any expectation to finish everything, and I did just that. I dyed. Well, I was surprised to see that I dyed over half of it. But anyway, and it felt like it was not such difficult. It was not difficult. It went fast. I mean, 2 hours later, I was done. I had time to do something in parallel because once the dye is in the dye pots, and you've applied the speckles and everything, you don't have to stay and watch it take the color. You can do something else with your life. So I actually prepared orders while the yarn was cooking, and I had the 2 most productive 2 hours of my whole week. It was like, wow, there's something to dig there. There's really something to dig. And that's what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks, with a really big improvement over the last week. I've been, instead of having this huge thing to do twice a week, I've split it in 5 little things to do every day. And because I've done that for dyeing, I've done that for rinsing out the yarn, I've done that for scanning up the yarn, labeling up the yarn, preparing the orders, shipping out the orders, and every day now I have several tiny items to check instead of having this big order preparation seance, this big dyeing session, which were beginning to really feel daunting. And I was like always procrastinating, always wanting to do something else. I didn't have time. It's not that I didn't have time. I didn't have any energy left. That was draining my energy. I didn't have any energy left to do anything else like knitting, cross-stitching, spinning. never. This feeling of never making any progress on anything, and when you actually complete something, it's the odd thing happening once in a while. Oh, I finished something, and I didn't have any plan, you know, and did not, even for my creative time, personal creative time, didn't have any plan. And each time I was just, for example, I'm knitting this shawl, because I didn't have any plan. I was not thinking, okay, I just want to knit a couple of rows on it, and then I'm done. I was thinking, I need to knit this shawl, like the whole shawl. Oh, I can't do that, I'm too tired, I'm going to bed. I was going to bed. So what I did is that I applied this system of splitting it. This is maybe natural to a lot of you guys, and you are thinking, but of course you have to do this. But in my mind, it was like too close to multitasking, which is not good. But it's not multitasking. It's applying a project-like approach to my day-to-day workload. And because I like to switch from one thing to the other instead of going into, you know, deep work for hours on end. This is really draining for me. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I know that now. So I'm like the butterfly. I like to do a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of this and a bit of that. So each time I'm doing something, I'm getting very focused, like on the Pomodoro thing. I'm staying focused for 20 to 30 minutes and then I'm taking a break. And it's good because each task I have to complete is no longer than like 20 minutes, apart from dyeing, which is actually longer, but like 2 hours in which I have some smaller task to complete. Each dye part is a small task. But yeah, great progress. So I did that for my projects. It's very long to tell you that I did that for my project. I actually have an action plan for my projects as well. And actually, guys, I'm going to show you I've managed to do everything I wanted to do this week, plus cooking, plus cleaning the house, plus folding the laundry, plus applying nail polish. Guys, can you believe this? So either I found the holy grail of organization, or I'm going to implode soon. I don't know. It's the one of the other. So I'm really being candid with you guys. I mean, maybe you will tell yourself, okay, that girl is crazy, but I'm going to show you what I did this week, and I think it shows that it works. Okay, so my objective is to knit three socks per month. Okay, and in order to do that, after very complicated calculations, my rhythm to knit 3 socks per month is to knit 18 rounds per day. So I've decided to knit 12 out of this and 6 out of this every day, 6 days a week, because, you know, Sunday you have to be able to relax and do something else if you wish to. So you see how it grew? This is my Brocéliande socks for the month of March. This is the double gusset sock, which is actually a great pattern, guys. I mean, it's very comfortable. It's one of the most comfortable socks I've ever knitted. The pattern is part of that. The yarn too. The yarn is great. This is the yak sock base. It has 10% of yak, but that's enough. This has a lovely black halo, and it's gorgeous. So you see the progress I've made on that? It's crazy, right? Crazy. And I've started the socks for my sister too. So those one I'm going to knit 1 per month. I hope to be finished by late April. But yeah, I started them. So here they are. Okay, that's proof. I mean, I've not made any such progress on projects since a long time. So I'm actually now not mono project anymore. I'm not monogamous anymore. I'm multi-encours, I'm multi-whips, but that's fine, and I think that's how I like to do it when I have a plan. I need to have a plan. Otherwise, I'm just too tired and I go to bed. This is my Kala shawl. So last time I showed it to you, I was here. And my rhythm for this is 2 rows per day, because the rows are getting longer and longer. So 2 rows per day, and I'm happy about that. Okay, knowing that the pearl rows are worked as well. So yeah, it's too intense and long rows per day. I won't have this finished for the festival like I initially planned, but that's okay. I mean, it will be finished when it will be finished. I'm okay with that. The other knitting project I'm working on is the Stunning String Studio Mystery Card, the whole year Mystery Card. So I've not started on March yet, but this is part of the plan for the weekend. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm trusting the designer. I mean, Cindy is a great designer, and she knows what she's doing. So I'm just going to say that for the time being, I'm not a huge fan, but I'm trusting the designer on this. Okay, if at some point I don't have any joy in knitting this at all, I'm going to frog it, but I'm just going to keep on just at least maybe until April or May, and I'll see. Okay, because it's actually nice to do, even if the project for the time being is not, I'm not in awe, but we'll see. Then I have done this spinning. I'm almost done, guys. Of the fiber, I mean, I've been spinning this for like more than a year now. Just that left of the fiber, and then I have the, you know, I'm knitting a contrasting yarn for the heel, because this is for socks actually. So I have this to spin just after for the contrasting heel, cuff, and toe. But yeah. So this is I'm making progress on that as well. This is a cross stitch, so that's 1 thread per day, and that's actually working very well. You can see that this is the equivalent of a thread. The white, off-white section here is the equivalent of 1 thread. So it's not very long. I'm trying to do that when it's still daylight outside. I'm working also on a crochet project. I have the crochet. So I'm putting the objectives very low so that I don't feel overwhelmed. But I have some crochet. I have the color samples. I want to do 2 per week. So I'm actually working on that as well. What else? And I'm reading a bit. I've made some progress on the Scarlet Letter. I'm really enjoying it, guys. Maybe I'll talk a bit more about that in another episode, but I'm reading this. I made good progress too on the Cthulhu cases from the Sherlock Holmes series by James Love Groves. So I'm currently listening to on Audible The Shadwell Shadows, and it's actually very good, very gorish, a lot of blood. Didn't expect that, but that's good. I love that. And that's it actually for what's ongoing right now. I'm really enjoying the Scarlet Letter. It's a kind of a surprise. I thought it was going to be very difficult to read. Actually it is. I have to read some sentences, especially at the beginning. I had to read sentences twice just to make sure I understood correctly. But I'm really loving the character of Hester Prynne. Her independence, her courage, dealing with all the people that don't like her, but have to go to her despite that they don't like her and they despise her because of a scene. But still they go to her because she's so talented. I love that. I really love that. And that's it for this week, guys. So we'll see in the next episode, so that's in 2 weeks. I should have 1 sock finished, 1 well underway, another sock started by the next episode. I will not be finished with my shawl if everything goes according to plan. I'm really hoping I found the holy grail of organization, and that's actually going to work out good. I actually don't have to work this weekend. Can you believe that? Because I did everything already. That might actually work. We'll see. Okay. So take care. I hope you will have a good fortnight. I hope world news will be good. No trust in that at all, but we'll see. And I'll see you on the 4th of April, okay? Bye, guys.